Good evening, y'all. Muller's on the move here with a traveling, homeschooling healthcare family here. I'm Blake Muller. I'm the nurse anesthetist. I'm the one doing the locum work. This is my wife, Paige. She has the hard job where she's the homeschooling, taking care of the family.
Nurse practitioner.
Oh, sorry about
Tell
that.
me about the good
She
titles.
is a nurse practitioner.
And the house management,
Mhm.
house manager of our Airbnb.
And a secretary for my company.
Yeah,
We put her on payroll.
which is what
We
we're
do need to
talking
talk
about
about
today.
that. Yes.
Airbnb.
So our big topic today, we still have our house back in Louisiana. How do we justify having and paying for that house that isn't paid off yet, and then also paying for these houses as we travel from city to city every 3 to 6 months? The number one thing people ask is, you really want people in your house and you really want people to sleep in your bed, but it's just, in our opinion, the first thing is just non-justifiable. I mean, say you're or everywhere we go is between Airbnb is $4,000 to $6,000 a month, and we have a low mortgage at our house. Thankfully, we've paid a lot of it off, and
Yeah.
the reality bills are still expensive. So, just say ballpark $4,000 a month there. So we still have to pay the electric bills, grass cutting, all that good stuff, and management companies as well. We're fortunate on that end, but calculate that up, you could be between $8,000 to $10,000 a month on housing, which would make, in my opinion, this whole travel locums wouldn't make much sense if you were paying that much a month on just on housing. So so we decided, well, let's just, instead of having long-term renters, let's just Airbnb it and see what happens, and
Well,
it's
and we
done
didn't want
very
to
well.
remove our furniture
Right.
because we are renting furnished housing. Back to the comment about like, oh, people sleep in your bed. Well, anytime you rent a hotel or Airbnb or a cabin in the woods, guess what? Everybody else done slept in that bed too.
Mhm.
So we just changed the sheets and removed the mattress pads and
We have our own set of sheets at home,
yeah,
mattress pads,
we bring
and
comforters with us. But
yeah.
and funny we're talking about this because on the way to daycare this morning, our oldest, we were bringing our youngest to daycare, and our oldest asked something about paying for houses, and I said, well, we still pay for our house back in Louisiana. And she was like, why? We don't live there. I'm like, well, then we had to go into the whole, we always still owe money on it, and that's why we have to rent it out.
We
And
hadn't quite got to economics on
yeah.
third grade homeschooling level, but maybe we should very soon. Very soon.
Probably one of the most common questions is about what do we do with our house? Why do we rent it versus sell? And this good old housing market today is we could pay off our house back home, but our interest rate is so low it doesn't make any sense to pay that down when we could have the cash for something else. So,
Which I still think paying off debt is still always beneficial, but it is a low interest rate
yeah.
and a low rate on our low total amount on our mortgage, and who knows what the future may bring. So we're keeping the cash in the high yield savings account, and we'll just go from there.
So, number one reason we didn't sell is because we don't know what life looks like. And we have a beautiful home on Blake's family's property that we purchased 8 years ago.
10 years ago.
Okay, 10 years.
Next 9 years. I'm sorry, 9 years ago.
9 years ago that we have. It's an 1840 home that's been in the family for literally forever. And so we have renovated it, restored it, expanded it, done a lot of work to it. And we love, 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 love our house. So selling was never in question.
Never gonna be
That was not going to happen. And we live in a small town outside of Baton Rouge. And people said, do you think anybody is going to rent your house? Like, I can't even believe you would think somebody would rent your house. But here's the beauty of it. We're in a small town. We have no competition. And the closest hotel to us is 30 minutes, maybe 25, 30 minutes, depending on traffic. Well, people still live out in our town. We're not completely off the grid. And so when people's family comes in, or even people going to LSU games, they don't want to stay in Baton Rouge.
Every home football game rents.
Yeah. So we're close enough to the city and close enough to New Orleans that people can do day trips in and out, but we're far enough removed that we're on beautiful property. We are on acres and acres of land. And so you're kind of secluded, but, close enough for all the city conveniences. So not surprising to us, I don't think, because we kind of manifested it and we knew it would do well. But surprising to a lot of other people, our house rents out a lot.
People think it's location, but we knew with our house, we had great professional pictures done and it's 4-bedroom, outdoor kitchen, porches, all that good stuff. That is what people want. People want to have baby showers there. People go to weddings and want to have 4 families stay there. And it's people say, what are the people coming here for? It's just a myriad of things, like I just said, and soccer tournaments, baseball tournaments, every home LSU football game,
Visiting family for the holidays.
and it's just been a no-brainer. We've gone. Obviously, you price it on what the market is going for, or whatever you think your house should be rented for. I think we have ours between $300 and $350 a night.
Well, and this is what you have to think of. If you are considering hosting your home, a couple things. Do not put a lot of money into your furniture. Ours was already there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is old. It's not a big deal. Some others brand new, but we just had to come to terms with it's no worse than our 3 young children living in that house. Strangers will never treat your home the same way you treat your home. It's just, so if you're planning on renting your house, if there is something that's important to you, and this is why we did any furniture we didn't want used, we moved. We luckily have enough storage space at our house. We don't have to rent a storage unit, but we moved anything important to us out of the house so that it was not accessible. Other things, unfortunately, just get ruined. They're going to get stained. People are going to spill. They just, unfortunately, don't care.
Anything nice that people could mess up,
don't leave it.
Exchange it.
Don't.
It's going to happen. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Kids, people, no one's going to treat your stuff as good as their own stuff. So that's just the reality.
The mess people can create in a 2-day time frame is astronomical.
Yeah, but a stained blanket is still,
you will still profit.
Yes, there we go.
You will still make a
$1,500 weekend or no stain blanket. Yeah. The $1,500 weekend all day.
You just replace it. You buy, I hate to say, that, don't buy cheap, you buy twice. Buy cheap, because you're going to have to buy twice anyway. Towels, blankets, pillows, sheets, anything, name it.
So it's just such a no-brainer. It's like, even if it rents one weekend out of the total month, which it always rents more than that, we're at $1,200 to $1,500 of profit right there. And it's just, like I said, just a no-brainer. And we almost pretty much covered all our costs of monthly costs for the whole first year of 2023. This year of 2024, it's been slower, but still sustainable, where we can keep doing this. We say over and over again, if we're not renting, then we're going to have to reevaluate, because it's you just can't afford $8,000 to $10,000 a month. It's just having 2 houses. I don't know. Not having double the happiness having 2 houses. But if it rents, But then there's also, you get housing stipends with sometimes with either the all-inclusive rate or you get that housing stipend. But still, it's still a hard pill to swallow if you're still paying for 2 houses at the end of the day. So even just one night helps.
So for pricing, what we did is we looked at the market and we went literally on Airbnb, searched our town, and then just took a look at the prices of the houses around us. And I also think about, if we were to rent a hotel room for 4 bedrooms, we have 2 kings and 2 queens, what that would look like price-wise. And you can't get a hotel room for less than $100. Mm-hmm. We did not charge $400. We charged, like Blake said, in between $300 to $350. But then you have a cleaning fee, which is set standard for every stay. And then there's Airbnb fees on top of that,
which are going higher, by the way.
And they seem to be going higher.
They were 3%. Now it's...
Well, I think they're 3%. Like, they charge us 3%, but that's like credit card processing. But they charge the guest, it's almost up to, I think, 10%. Mm-hmm. However, when you look at the business of it, it is a great platform. They do have wonderful customer service. And it does provide liability for us if something were to happen. We also host on VRBO. I don't have a preference. It rents probably almost hmm, maybe 60%
Yeah.
Airbnb and 40% VRBO. So,
If there's always, yeah, I've always liked Airbnb more. Even ourselves, when we book our own
yeah.
Airbnbs on the side, weekend trips, see, Airbnb is always up there. We've never had luck with furnished finders supposed to be made for
Mhm.
travel
Our
nursing.
first person.
And yeah, well, that's true. But every time we look
Oh,
for
yeah.
housing,
We don't
it's never updated. It's not the platform is
I don't like it.
nothing compared to
No.
Airbnb. But yeah, we had so our first client in our house was a long term renter of 3 months. Who was actually a travel nurse, so she had to commute like 45 minutes at least to
Yeah.
work. But anyway, she was fine and there's no damage to our house or anything. But pretty much from then on out, we were like, let's just see how sh-
Short term.
short, yeah,
And not that we
short
wouldn't
term
be
rental,
open to long
not
term.
long
Obviously,
short or no long
we,
short would be 3 months.
yeah,
So short
we
term.
personally rent houses for this one's 8 months, I think, but 3 to 6 months normally. And we are open to doing the same with our house. But like we know, the house doesn't get cleaned as frequently when you do longer stays.
And it's a unique house. It has some TLC that has to be
Yeah, that
involved
has to
to it.
be.
So
Yeah, our house is super, super old, and so it just needs a lot more care. So we have found for our house personally, the short-term rentals were better. But the team. The biggest recommendation I can say is making a team because you cannot physically be there all the time. Obviously, we cannot fly home to Louisiana every time something happens. We are very fortunate to live on the property with Blake's family, so his mom mainly, but then his dad, his cousins, people are able to pop in for us, and we are so thankful that they are there and help us out. We also have a management company, which we did not start with, and I regret that a little bit
definitely do it. Unless you definitely do it.
because what we do is it just gives us a middleman to help outsource maintenance, appliance. We had to redo a whole bathroom. So contractors or flooring. So that was just a much easier versus me trying to communicate with people from afar. And then cleaning crew is obviously important because they're the ones flipping your house. Every
Yeah.
weekend or
You have
so.
to have eyes on the property and
Yes.
you have to have someone obviously cleaning reliable every time. If you have a 1 day turnover, Sunday morning to Sunday evening, you have to obviously have someone clean it. So you have to have reliable people. So we have two cleaners for sure, and we haven't had an issue with that. Mainly our biggest issues of the whole thing
Are the
is
renters.
well, I mean, as in like substantial big issues of the house, like our bathroom being totally just remodeled. That was just from construction 10 years ago.
It wasn't
Horrible
waterproof.
situation of a $15,000 bathroom renovation that I just saw for the first time this past weekend.
It did not need to be renovated. It was so
it
pretty.
was just, it's just normal
Wear and tear.
life wear and tear. It's not catastrophe from the renters at all. All the stuff, I'd like to not go into some of the details, but
Just say
ovens going out, dishwashers going out, all that kind of stuff is just normal stuff that would happen anyway.
And I think the difference is that like this is our main home, so we
Yeah,
have higher end appliances, which would have been different if we bought a rental house. We wouldn't have had
yeah, for sure.
the high end appliances that then we have to replace. They were like custom built and
Mm,
everything, and so it's just not as easily to replace. Or sorry, it's not as cost more to replace stuff in your actual home than it would if it was a rental home. I don't think we would have put as much money into some of it
for sure.
had it just been a rental. What's your favorite horror story though of a renter? Which one? I can't think of any.
I was gonna say the pistol one, but
I mean, that's a good one. We were
I
actually
mean this is real life
we were
situations.
traveling. That one we went from Maine.
To
We were
South
going from Maine
Dakota.
to South Dakota, so we had stopped in Canada. And I get a text message from our renter. She had rented actually from us previously the year before. So she was a return renter. And so she texts me and she's like, "Did somebody leave a gun in the master bedroom under the pillow?" And my first thought is like, did the maid not come clean the master bedroom? Because if she would have cleaned the master bed, she would have found the gun. And I mean, we're outside of Baton Rouge. Personal firearms are
Yep.
prevalent for people to have, so it's like not a shock. And I said, don't worry, we will send somebody up there. We'll get the cops to run the number if we need to. So I call my cleaner. I'm like, did you not clean the master bed? Like, they found a pistol. She's like, I know I cleaned that master bedroom. Come to find out, it was the renter's husband's firearm, but he sent his son to go put it in there. So when she asked her husband, she didn't want to freak him out. So she said, have you been in the master bedroom? And he said no. So she assumed it wasn't his because he sent the son in there to put. Anyway, it was a whole big misunderstanding over a firearm. But
Yeah.
that's very scary as the homeowner that maybe somebody
To us and all, it was very creepy, and come to find out,
left a firearm.
it's them bringing a firearm in our house, and this is someone we've known before, but yeah.
Mine is the roaches, which I mean can
Yeah, I didn't want to go into that one.
then I get a message from a renter who had already checked out, which if you're renting a house and you have an issue while you're there, notify your host while you're there and send pictures because he notifies me days later. Hey, I just wanted to let you know we had some food on the counter. We were having like a dinner and I had to leave and I came back and there were roaches in my food. I'm like, well, ain't nobody seen a roach. No, none of the cleaners have seen it. That his mom's been over there. Nobody's seen it.
Paige there, she would have burned the
I
house
would have
down.
literally burned the house down. I didn't want to question him, so I had people do a further investigation and come to find out we had a German roach infestation from previous renters who had spilt what looked like a daiquiri. And we had
And
cleaned it up
who is it from
already.
the South who doesn't know what a daiquiri
Yeah.
is?
It's a frozen cocktail.
An alcoholic flavored drink. That
Lot
you
of
could get that
sugar.
you could get at a drive-through.
In a gallon size.
Yeah, at a drive-through.
At a
This was pink flavored, pink
Pinky
colored,
orange.
and spilled all in the refrigerator, all alongside the cabinets by the dishwasher, behind the refrigerator and freezer, which is where these roaches were.
Well, and we had been home at one point and we cleaned it out of all the cabinets, and I guess we just we didn't ever go behind the refrigerator and freezer.
So we had to beg some family to really do some high-end cleaning. We had pest service out there weekly for months. And finally, we eradicated them, but it was a big issue. Yeah.
Yeah, that took a lot of power housing with family, cousins, pest control.
We had honeybees and wasps in the wall one time.
Yeah, they did.
While we were gone as well.
They cut a hive out of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, the people that were actually staying at the house that weekend, they also had multiple pets.
I was going to go into that one. See,
a snake.
How we knew they had these many pets. They paid one pet fee, and they had literally a pet snake in a cage.
A hairless something hamster.
All kind of a parrot, some kind of bird. Oh, they were.
But thankfully, they didn't mind a couple wasps flying around. Oh, but yeah, horror stories that happen.
All from afar. All from afar. We got to deal with this. You just get. Just like at work, just like in the OR. You never know what cards are going to be dealt every day, what's going to happen when, the surgeon's going to hit the aorta or something while you're in the middle of a robot case. You just never know the catastrophes that you got to deal with. You just take it in strides. We take everything in strides, not just because we're in healthcare, but with 3 kids and just the older, more mature we get, you just got to deal with the cards you're dealt.
You just realize that there are some things you cannot control.
You got to figure out how to fix it. Yeah. And you got to have a team. And we do have a good team. My mom, we call her the banjo. She goes and usually looks at the house between every renter. We got our team of management company. We got the cleaners. Yeah.
And then I just run.
Next Village.
Yeah.
And she's the host. She does all
the platforms, the blocking, the scheduling, the communication, which doesn't take a lot of time. It's just figuring out really how to just communicate with people. And then kindness goes so far. Early check-ins, late checkouts, which we will always accommodate without a fee if we can. There are sometimes we flip the house. Somebody checks out at 10, somebody's checking in at 4. We cannot accommodate an early check-in because it's got to be cleaned. And we want to make sure it's clean before they come. But offering that to people, hey, look, I just wanted to let you know the house is ready. You're welcome to check in early if you need to. Hey, nobody's checking in when you leave on Sunday. You are welcome to check out late. Just let me know. And that really, I think goes a long way.
It's all on reviews too. The
Yeah.
marketing of your house. We're all 5-star reviews, and that's a big deal. When we go to book our Airbnbs, we look at the reviews, and
Mhm.
if you have 50 something 5-star reviews, that's saying something.
Yeah. And also it gives your listing will appear higher up in the search engine if you're a super host for meeting their requirements. And one of those is response time, 5-star reviews,
So,
how
what are
much
the
you're booked
requirements
out.
and what are the requirements and steps to take to become an Airbnb? I guess what are the initial steps when you went to Airbnb.com to list our house?
Well, while we're on that topic, I'll put a link for you to be a host if you're interested because you can earn money if you use our referral link. Um, Mainly, I think they just have to verify your address. You have to put in information as the host. I think like your ID, your driver's license to verify your identity. And then I don't even know if pictures are actually a requirement. I can't say I've seen anywhere that doesn't have pictures. But it's mainly just verifying your address and then like who you are as a
Yeah.
person.
And these big, so like Airbnb has $1 million policy on
Mhm.
on all their hosts to cover on their insurance as well.
Yeah.
So
And
what
I'm
is
in
our
some Facebook
insurance?
groups that like hate Airbnb support. I have never had a
Yeah,
problem with them.
they're very
Whether
responsive.
people are hosting a party at our house or, didn't pay a pet fee because their transaction didn't go through, they have always been
Mm.
very nice and very helpful. We have had a couple parties. Not banned. We are lenient if people are honest with us and upfront. Hey, I would like to have a small gathering. Hey, I would like to have people over for dinner. Um, we are very lenient if they're honest, but we've had a couple people lie to us,
She
and
doesn't like that.
if you lie, you're
She's
you're like done.
she's the best PI there is, private investigator.
And if you're gonna lie,
She's found them partying on Instagram.
don't have 1,900 cars in our driveway, and don't post it on your social media while people are at my house. I mean, I know
Charge an extra $500 for the party, and then we charge it to them and
some people have
pay it.
paid it and other people have not. But then that's the other thing as a host. If you can prove that they did something and then they write you a bad review because she did, they will take the review down because, hey, I told you you couldn't have a party at my house and you lied to me, and here's the evidence that you did it anyway. You don't get to write me a bad review, but I will write you one because,
Because obviously we've now experienced. We started. If you have parties or get-togethers, wedding showers, whatever you want. If you're saying you're having 6 people there, and really there's 50, obviously there's a lot more trash, a lot more wear and tear, glitter everywhere. Don't ever let anybody have glitter in your house. For one,
it never goes away.
we swear they were pictures, nothing else
Yes.
crazy. Yeah, don't ever let glitter in your house.
Well, and then people use your supplies, which you have to factor in. Are they create damage, like putting paper towels down the septic tank?
Yeah, there was that, or outdoor
Like off
new
the septic tank
bathroom
that
that
clogged.
clogged, was a roll of paper towels essentially down there. There's another hiccup. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So ensure there's no paper towels in the outside bathroom.
Yeah.
And now we locked it. Now they can't.
Now they can't even use it because people can't take
Crisis
anything.
averted. Diverted.
So yeah, it has been a wonderful way for us to one keep the house functioning and
Yeah,
running.
you have to use it. You have to use the water. You have to.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful way for us to pay some of the mortgage and cover the fees and keep it clean and the yard maintained and all that.
Appreciation of the house, and like I said, every single night helps. Obviously, I mean, it just you know, every $350 helps. I
Yeah.
wish you would rent 100% of the time. That'd be amazing, but we're not close to that. And we're fine with that.
Oh. Well, and you have to decide, and we've talked about this so many times. Do we lower the price because we are in not an upscale area? We could lower the price, but with 4 bedrooms and people try to put 8 people in there and you lower the price, you know what kind of clients you're going to get there.
Yeah.
And we are just not willing to lower the price to have guests that, I mean, let's be honest, if you're paying a higher price, you're probably a little bit more respectable to the area. And so we don't want guests just using our house as a party place because it is very much set up as a party house. So we do keep the price a little higher. And a lot of people when I mean even us when we're renting Airbnbs are like, dang, that cleaning fee is high. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? That's what it costs somebody
A
to
lot of
come in and
work.
clean
It's not a hotel room where you're just changing
one bed and
one,
vacuuming.
and that boom, you're done. Put some already clean towels out. You have to go wash all that in our own washer and dryer. We've stayed at Airbnbs who literally, and it was just a one regular house. They had 4 washers and 4 dryers
It's set up
in the
in the
garage. It
garage.
was they. I don't know. We never got down to the bottom. They might have other houses in the area. I had to.
But yeah, if you're watching bedding and towels and floor mats
So you have to be there for the whole. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And by the way, our house is in Denham Springs, Louisiana. It's called Watson Wonderland. If you ever want to stay in it or look it
we'll
up.
drop the link below too.
Yeah, we'll definitely drop that link to
Yeah.
them.
So-
Glad we didn't miss that. That would have been a rookie mistake.
Oh, and sign up for our newsletter. We'll
Let's
put that
sign up
link
for our
too.
newsletter.
We'll shoot
We'll
it.
have the link on that too.
But yeah, if you have any questions about being a host or how to find good Airbnbs, please shoot us an email at mullersonthemove@gmail.com. Send me a message on Instagram, Mullers_on-the-move, MULLER. But yeah, we love hosting. I mean, yes, there are some horror stories, but overall, we have had great guests, great experiences.
We say every time I was home this weekend for just a very short amount of time. And I say every time, this is the nicest Airbnb I've ever been in.
We do love our home.
We do.
We do love sharing it with other people. It is a very unique place. And so we love sharing our little slice of heaven with people. So don't be scared to host. Just be mindful and don't lower your standards of what you expect for how people should treat your home.
And I've met a guy who's a CRNA, and he has a really nice place in the Smoky Mountains. And one of his advertisements and marketing, and what he did was put high-end furniture in his Airbnb. And from the get-go, I was like, man, I don't know about that. I wouldn't do it. But he says it's a seller and hasn't had any issues yet. So just personally, well, I mean, our furniture is nice, so we have high-end stuff in our house, and for the most part, they haven't done too bad. Our 3 kids will do worse things, like we've already mentioned, but I don't know. Something to think about.
Just remember, because I've had a hard time drawing boundaries with it. It is your home, and it is essentially your business. It is a business. It is an income stream for us. So treat it, don't let people take advantage of you in your home.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Till next time.